And cool. Everything's recording, everything's broadcasting. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Faith and Fandom Feedback Friday, as we discuss all the things of the past week in terms of news, pop culture, faith, and geek. Um, Hector Mirai here, and jumping right in early this morning because I'm about to hit the road and head to Columbus, Georgia. My friend and podcasty partner, Chris Poirier, has opened a restaurant in Columbus, Georgia called Bites and Brews. And I'm going to make a road trip there to go see that and also stop by Columbus Got Game. I'm a friend, supporter, and board member of Columbus Got Game, and I've not actually been there. So I'm gonna make that happen today. So I'm gonna hit this a little bit early so I can be on my merry way. Um, So let's just jump in. First off, I want to say last week I announced that Amazon was dropping Has Been Hotel, and all I knew about Has Been Hotel primarily was what I'd seen from cosplayers and art at shows. Um, that show's way more yikes than I anticipated in terms of content and stuff. I am not recommending or endorsing you watch that. So I'd like to make that real clear. I apologize for even mentioning it. My bad. So just jumping into some cool stuff I did find. Uh Tristan Birch, if I said your name right, I'm glad. If not, I apologize. Tristan Birch, who's one of my online homies, pointed out to me I mentioned last week that Alan Richardson from Reacher made a video talking about why it's okay for him as a believer to play Reacher and do things like that. Uh, what I didn't understand or already know is that Alan Richardson has a full YouTube ministry. Um, and I've been a fan of this guy for a hot minute, and I had no idea he did like a full online ministry. So here's what I'll tell you: go to YouTube and look up Insta Church, like Instagram, but Insta Church. He's got hundreds of videos, gospel message, encouragement, scripture, but from a very authentic or genuine voice. So I would encourage you, go check that out. That was completely surprising. I had no idea that existed. But Insta Church on YouTube, Alan Richson, Reacher slash Raphael slash Aquaman slash Hawk, like all the things he's done nerd wise. Um, he also has a full blown YouTube ministry. Like he's got more videos than I do. And I don't YouTube's not my jam, but he's got a lot. So you should go check that out. It's pretty quality content and encouraging. On some other notes, Deadpool 3 has officially wrapped filming and will be coming out July 26th. So for all of you who have been anticipating this, and this is going to be Deadpool's first official Marvel Universe uh endeavor. We know we're getting Hugh Jackman back. We know there's going to be lots of cameos and lots of things, and rumor that Taylor Swift is playing Dazzler, to getting Kelsey Grammer's Beast back, to who knows what we're going to get. But this is what Ryan Reynolds has been gunning for. So, uh, and more than likely, it's going to be based on loosely based on the uh, or the Deadpool comic. Daredevil kills the Marvel universe. So either way, it's going to be something fun we should check out with that. Um, Wrestling-ish news. Cody Rhodes, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley have been named as cover artists for WWE 2K24. Um, like with NFL games and things like that, being on the cover of 2K is an honor, and it's something a lot of people look forward to. And this last year, it was John Cena on the cover of everything. Uh, this year on the main cover, uh, Cody Rhodes is going to be featured. And then on the deluxe edition, there is a split cover where one side is Bianca Belair, the other side is Rhea Ripley. I have a small human who is a fan of Rhea Ripley, and I'm gonna see if I can just get her a box because I don't think I want to spend $100 on that game itself. I've not bought a wrestling game in generations, but you uh, that's something you, if you're a person who rocks with that, you should want to check out. Other wrestling news, Raw is coming to Netflix in 2025. January 2025, Raw will be broadcast on Netflix. It will be on Netflix live. Like you can tune in at a certain time and watch it live. I want to say it was a $5 billion deal that was brokered. And part of brokering deals, The Rock is officially on the board for TKO, which, runs the WWE and or as part of the WWE. And so he's officially he like owns the WWE in part now. Uh one of the things that came with that is this is the first time since I was in like high school that The Rock owns the term The Rock, because The Rock had always been like a WWE creation slash license, whatever. And now for the first time, he owns his name. Um, Michael Glenn says Netflix is going to ask us if we're still watching Raw halfway through. Yeah, yeah. I've seen memes with that. I've also seen it's not going to be Netflix and chill. It's going to be Netflix and Raw, and you're going to get like RKO'd out of nowhere, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be an interesting aspect to see how that plays out. And but ever since I was in high school, the WWE's always shopping for a home for Raw, because like I know at one point it was on USA, at one point it was on, I want to say it was on Fox. It bounces around, so it landing on Netflix is a pretty big deal for them. So Netflix, The Rock, is now officially a board member, owns his own name. And then I think the last one in the WWE news is that John Cena, John Cena, um, that John Cena has announced that he plans to retire by the age of 50. And that means he's going to retire within the next 3 years. So if that, oops, sorry, I didn't bang the microphone. If that dramatically affects your soul, um, John Cena plans to retire from wrestling in the next 3 years. But realistically, I thought he had already retired. I'm glad to see him back. It's really cool that he's there, but at the same time, he plans to retire for real, and within the next 3 years. Some a little more nerdy news. Um, Bad Batch season 3 has put out its trailer and has this will be its final season, and they also showed us that they are bringing back a character we've not seen since well, we've not seen in a while. They're bringing back Asajj Ventress, the uh basically Sith equivalent of Ahsoka, the Sith parallel of Ahsoka. And yeah, she's coming to Bad Batch season 3. And from my understanding, it is going to be following the novel Dark Disciple or something to that effect. So that is a thing with that. Um, Staying on the sci-fi nerdy news, um, we have reading. Um, Millie Gibson, who is currently playing the Doctor Who companion Ruby Sunday, will be leaving within the first season. We've only had one episode with Ruby Sunday so far in the Doctor Who world, which was the Christmas special, the church on, I forgot what street it was. But the Christmas special where Ruby was kidnapped as a child. Um, Millie Gibson has already been replaced. They are filming season two, and they have a new uh, companion, Veranda Sethu, and you can find photos of them filming season two already, where the two of them are already jumping from explosions and things as they're getting going. So, if you enjoyed Ruby Sunday, enjoy her while you can. She'll be gone by the end of season one. There's also like internet scuttlebutt of like problems on set and things like that. I don't know that that's accurate. Again, the internet is 83% rumors. So just take that with a grain of salt. Also on pseudo Doctor Who news, Peter Capaldi, who is my doctor. If you know me, let me see if I can reach him without breaking something. Yes, sort of broke something. It's okay. Uh, Peter Capaldi is my doctor, the 12th Doctor. Let me come on for a second. Bam. Um, he is known, like one of my favorite scenes in Doctor Who of his tenure was him coming out on a tank playing guitar. Another one of my favorite scenes is the fact that there's a scene of him alone in the TARDIS just absolutely shredding on guitar to Amazing Grace. Um, if you aren't aware, Doctor Who is, or sorry, Peter Capaldi is a musician, specifically as a guitarist. And back in the 70s, he was in a punk rock band with Craig Ferguson, like the old Late Show host. Um, he was in a punk rock band with Craig Ferguson. Um, so music has always been a part of him. Peter Capaldi is officially releasing new music in 2025. So get ready. And I'm 1,000% going to buy it, without question. Um, in fact, if you want to, you can find old Peter Capaldi music. Um, but I'm looking forward to him dropping new music. This will be, I believe, the first time he's really put out full new content since uh leaving Doctor Who. So Peter Capaldi dropping new music 2025. Other sci-fi news, Tron 3 has begun filming, and I know that matters to Amy Deletry, my friend, whose last name I probably just butchered. Um, Tron 3 has started filming. So if that's your jam, it's coming. I low-key have never seen a Tron movie. I understand how iconic the first Tron movie was, how groundbreaking it was. Um, I've just never actually committed to watching it. I could tell you the story, but just from living in nerd culture, but I have not watched it. But Tron 3 is filming. And Marvel has been nominated for an award for the first time in the entire history of the MCU. If you're familiar, there is an awards called the Golden Raspberry or the Razzies, which are awarded every year for the worst movies of the year. And Marvel has managed to stay primarily out of the Razzie world for all of existence. Um, Razzies are famous for like just really making sure people know that they uh aren't fantastic. And it's all done in good jest, and sometimes people actually show up. And if I'm not mistaken, there was the incident that Halle Berry won an Academy Award for Best Actress and the Razzie for Worst Actress in the same year. Um, the Razzie was for Catwoman, I believe, or it was somewhere in that effect. Somebody won. If it wasn't Halle Berry, oh, listen, it's early in the morning. Someone won an Academy Award for Best Actor and a Razzie for Worst Actor at the same year. It's a thing. But Marvel has officially been nominated for their first Razzie, and not just one, but multiple. But they're all for the same movie. It's for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, specifically for Michael Douglas's performances and Bill Murray's performance. And there's some other aspects to it, but Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is the first Marvel project to officially be nominated for a Razzie. And I mean this in no hate, but I do say this concretely. I am utterly shocked that the Eternals wasn't nominated for a Razzie. So to me, if I had to choose between Eternals getting a Razzie or Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I would side with Eternals. I don't do it. It's not my award show. It doesn't matter. But that's the thing. Um, Also, if you are interested in this world, Kevin Smith's third iteration of He-Man has dropped to Netflix, Masters of the Universe Revolution. I believe the first two seasons were Masters of the Universe Revelation, and now it is Masters of the Universe Revolution, um, which will take a twist and turn from where it was in Revelation to a new story. And one other notable departure is that Sarah Michelle Gellar, who had played the main female lead in the series for the first two seasons, is out and has been replaced by Melissa Benoist. I don't know, I'm not going to say her name right. The young lady who plays Supergirl, or formerly played Supergirl, which is fun because she is attached to romantically Chris Wood, who plays He-Man. I only know this because Chris Wood also played Russell Hammonds in the almost famous Broadway musical, and I live for that musical. So I follow him on Instagram, but it's featuring a lot more characters, and it looks to be a little more gritty and He-Man focused. I'm not saying to appease fanboys, but in the same breath, it's to appease fanboys. So, Masters of the Universe Revolution, 5 episodes, has dropped to Netflix, and this is just a fun thing. But I play Pokemon Sleep. I enjoy it. In fact, I get a little more enjoyment out of playing Pokemon Sleep than I do playing Pokemon Go these days. Nothing complaining about Pokemon Go, but Pokemon Sleep is just a fun. It's more like having a Tamagotchi, but of with Pokemon. And as it's set up, you have each week you pick an island you're going to go do research on, and you pick a team of Pokemon specifically geared to find certain food and stuff to get a Snorlax food so it can sleep and grow and eat. And you study because the sleepier that Snorlax gets, the more Pokemon it attracts. It's a whole thing. So they're 6 months deep in this game being out. They just hit their 6 month thing because they sent out prizes for it. Uh, but one of the things that's always happened is you have a team of like 5 Pokemon that spend your whole day gathering food just to feed this Snorlax. And I don't know if there was a complaint. I don't know if there was just somebody that was empathetic to these other Pokemon that genuinely felt sad. But somewhere in the 6 month update, they updated it so that the other Pokemon get to eat too. Um, because normally you gather all the food, you cook it, prepare it, and Snorlax just eats it straight up. Now, somewhere in the 6 month update, it's popped up that you can see all the other Pokemon that have worked so hard. They get their own little portion too. And if they're off screen, they get little bubbles showing, look, I'm eating and I'm happy. Um, because apparently it was against Pokemon rights or injustice because those Pokemon weren't eating well. And it just made me giggle. I was like, somebody had a serious conversation with this, had to say, hey, we're not treating these Pokemon fairly. But I will say it makes me smile to see it. I've enjoyed Pokemon Sleep a lot. It's actually helped me be a little more intentional about my rest. Um, just fun, but also the Pokemon Go Plus, the button that catches Pokemon, is way better than every other version that's existed so far. So if that's your jam, they're continuing to update it and make it a fun experience. Do, 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 do. Uh, in Comic-Con news, Charlie Hunnam, who played Jax Teller in what was the show? Sons of Anarchy. Jax Teller, who played or Charlie Hunnam, who played Jax Teller in Sons of Anarchy. He also has played Robin Hood. He was a lead role in Pacific Rim and Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman. He is coming to a GalaxyCon. Now I find like I'm always surprised at the level of celebrities that they got popping up to these shows. But Jax Teller was not on my bingo card for Comic Cons for this year. So that's kind of cool. He'll be at GalaxyCon Richmond. And so I know a lot of dudes and ladies who are very excited about that. Um, Also in Comic Con news, Kevin Spacey is going to be making his first Comic Con appearance, and it just so happens to be in North Carolina at Mad Monster coming up in February. Mad Monster Party. Kevin Spacey is going to be up in the place. Um, and to my understanding of browsing the internet, photos are about $250 or autographs are about $250 and with no selfie options to my understanding. Um, Now, this is a thing, one, because Kevin Spacey's like a multi-Academy Award winning actor. Two, it's because we haven't really seen Kevin Spacey in a public setting since he had allegations brought against him in 2017, and he was removed from not Game of Thrones, House of Cards. Uh, uh, he was apparently acquitted of his charges last summer, which I didn't understand or didn't know about until I read the news feed following that con announcement. Um, but it's been kind of a media frenzy swarming this. Like the Hollywood Reporter reported on this, and this is just a little con, not a little con, but Mad Monster Party is not like a colossal show like in terms of size and girth, but the Hollywood Reporter is commenting on it because Kevin Spacey showing up is a big deal, but it's also gotten a lot of backlash in terms of what people are saying and responding to on the internet. And, the comment section on the post for Kevin Spacey coming to Mad Monster got real wild. There have been people that have been banned for commenting. It's been an adventure. Like that Michael Jackson meme of I'm just here for the comments. Literally, I've just been curious to see how people are responding. Some people are saying, it was never proven. Some people are saying, how could you go here? How could you do this? And there's a whole there's a whole vibe going on with it. So if you have any interest in this, if this is a conversation you feel like having with someone, it's happening. Kevin Spacey, Mad Monster Party, Charlotte, North Carolina, it's going down. And I'm low key curious if the backlash is going to cause them to end that deal before it gets there, but who knows? Who knows? It might not happen. Um, but yeah, that's some con news. Couple other things just to announce. We've got Jon Stewart, not the Green Lantern, the former talk show host slash political activist slash comedian. Jon Stewart is returning to The Daily Show. Jon Stewart left, I want to say 8 years ago, which gave us the opportunity for Trevor Noah to step in. And but man, 8 years ago, and it seems like a blink. But Trevor Noah did a good job with his tenure there. But they are currently in the search for a host for the Daily Show. Jon Stewart is going to be back to host Mondays, which is their most viewed night. And so Jon Stewart will be back to host each Monday, at least through election season. And so you're going to get OG Jon, but Jon's a lot more seasoned and weathered and articulate in his thoughts than he was even 8 years ago. And so it's going to take an interesting turn with that. So Jon Stewart will be returning to the Daily Show, not as the permanent host, but he will be hosting Monday nights. So that's coming up. There is a project with Ben Affleck reuniting with Matt Damon, and it's going to be a Netflix movie thriller called Animals that is going to be directed by Affleck. This is just the chance for these two guys to work together again and to pull something off. So Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Netflix, Animals, that's coming soon. And also, Bob Dylan has announced a Rough and Rowdy tour. Now, Bob Dylan is old, and I love Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan's one of these artists. I know not everybody is. He's not everybody's jam. Everybody can't enjoy listening to him. But I love Bob Dylan. And I spent the past 2 days listening to Bob Dylan while doing some desk work. But Bob Dylan has announced a Rough and Rowdy tour, and in my little town, my little region of Fayetteville slash Lumberton, North Carolina, I've never seen Bob Dylan come close to here. It's usually 2 hours away. Bob Dylan's coming to Fayetteville, North Carolina. He's also touring all around the country, so keep your eyes peeled if you care. But the cheapest seats at the show near me is $189, and the most expensive seat is $789. That's a lot. Now, why I'm bringing that up outside of just telling you about a tour is that there's an upcoming movie biopic on Bob Dylan starring Timothy Chalamet. And one of the main supporting roles in the movie was going to be Benedict Cumberbatch playing Pete Seeger. Benedict has dropped from the film. I don't know why. And has been replaced by Edward Norton. So it's been a minute since I've seen Edward Norton do like anything. But Benedict Cumberbatch has been replaced by Edward Norton. Now, it's an odd thing to see Benedict Cumberbatch just replaced by Edward Norton in anything. When I think of actors in terms of anything, they are usually not on the same plane for me. It's still weird to me that Mark Ruffalo replaced Edward Norton for Hulk, you know? It's like try and like swap people out for that in your mind. Like, could you picture Benedict Cumberbatch as the main protagonist from Fight Club? I couldn't. Could you picture Mark Ruffalo as the main dude in Fight Club? No. No, you couldn't. Maybe you could. I can't. That'd be weird. Uh, but either way, that's a thing. It's coming. Bob Dylan biopic starring Timothy Chalamet. I'm gonna keep talking about it because I'm excited. There's also I'll just mention this if you care about this. There was a Bob Dylan movie, let's say 15 years ago. But they weren't allowed to actually say Bob Dylan's name in it because he didn't approve it. But there's a Bob Dylan biopic years back where I want to say 15 different actors played Bob Dylan at different stages in their life, in his life. And so like they were iterations of his story in different forms. Like Christian Bale plays the Jesus loving Bob Dylan. Heath Ledger is in it playing Bob Dylan. Denzel Washington is in it playing Bob Dylan. Kate Blanchett is in it playing Bob Dylan. It's a weird thing. And I really need to rewatch it now that I've said that. Um, yeah, Michael says Hulk and Fight Club is the crossover you never knew. Dude, if Hulk was legitimately a Fight Club, could you imagine like the first time, like it's even go back to the parking lot scene in Fight Club. Ow, why'd you punch me in the ear? You're not gonna like it when you punch me in the ear. Whole different movie. Um, oh, that's delightful. Um, Jared Leto would have never made it out alive of Fight Club with Hulk in there. So yeah. Um, all right. And last news for the day before I hit the road. Um, KB, Christian rapper, Kevin Burtis, is hitting the road for another round of his Glory Nights tour. I went to one last year or a year before. It's a mixture of hip hop and worship throughout a night. It was a dope experience. I thoroughly enjoyed the tour. He is hitting the road for another round of Glory Nights tour, like now through May. And I know that I enjoyed it. So if you enjoy good hip hop and you enjoy worship music, I think Brandon Lake went with them last time. I don't know who all is on the roster. I just saw the poster yesterday and looked for the North Carolina date. But no big deal. No big deal. What up, RG? Are also going to be on the tour. So if you like hip hop worship, you should check that out. That's coming up. And then just some other news on me and Faith and Fandom. So first off, Wednesday was the deadline for my editor to finish editing the book for book 9. There's a miscommunication. He didn't realize it was Wednesday. We're working on it. I hopefully will be sending book 9 to be published by Saturday is my goal. Because there's a show at the end of February that I need to get the books for, but it's written, the artwork's done, the pictures for the inside of the book are done, and it's God willing and the creek don't rise, etc. It's going to be sent to publish on Saturday and will be available online within a week. That's one. Two, uh, the comic book I wrote is still uh being considered by the publisher. I'm waiting back to hear from it. Um, I did order some test copies for myself, and I will have it depending on what they say, I will have those for public sale at some point. But I'm waiting to actually hear back from the publisher, the comic book publisher first before I make that a thing. Um, and then lastly is this. And I don't know how much this is going to affect. I've not said this anywhere else on the internet yet because I don't know the details. But I got a muggle job this week. Like I already passed her full time. Um, but I also got a other muggle job and like a 9 to 5 desk job. I got a phone call um Monday, from a local community college asking me if I was interested in interviewing for helping with social media, graphics, videos, etc., stuff like that. I think the term the title is assistant PIO, which is public information officer. I don't know what my official title is yet. Literally, I went in for an interview Tuesday. They hired me on the spot, and I've spent the past 3 days during the workday making graphics and videos. And so I say that to say, uh, if you see a shift in my trend of like postings and things like that, it's because I don't have my pastoral vagabond lifestyle right now. I'm actually working a desk job. Uh, but bear with me, we will adjust. But why that's important is because there literally have been some shows, some cons, some opportunities lately that I have not been able to do just purely out of I don't have the money. Like there's cons I can't go to, places I can't travel because I can't afford it. And I have fantastic Patreon supporters, and literally I couldn't do what I do without them already doing it. But even with that being said, I've got teenagers and like I've got my oldest is I'm about like is getting she turned 16 in like 12 days. So like life has gotten more expensive. Like you can't even buy you know, a combo at McDonald's for $12 these days. It's rough. But God provided a job out of nowhere, and I don't know how long it's for. It could be very temporary, but it's just one of these things of like it's extra provision, and I'm grateful. So, A, my time might shift a little bit, but B, I'm going to have the opportunity to do more ministry and do things a little bit better with faith and fandom because of this provision. So, woo woo. Um, yeah, so that's basically all the news. I will say there is one other thing I would recommend if you are a theology nerd like me. There is a stage play that tours across the country, several of them, uh, that is just C.S. Lewis expounding on his life and his thoughts and his theology and things that he believes. There's a dude who literally just embodies all of C.S. Lewis, and he basically puts on a 2 hour show by himself or with a little bit of assistance, going through his life and thoughts and feelings. The current iteration of this show is called Further Up and Further In, which, if you've read the books of Narnia, there comes a point where, at the book 7 at the end, they arrive in heaven and they are getting used to their new glorified bodies and such. And they're like literally running up waterfalls and they just say further up and further in. But there's a play called Further Up and Further In, which is just going through the theology and the life and doctrine of C.S. Lewis. And it's playing in North Carolina in like March 2nd and 3rd. It's one of those things. It's another one of those things like I wanted to go to but couldn't afford it. Um, but it is traveling all around the country. So I would encourage you to keep a lookout if you care on the theological level. It's a neat show to see. That being said, I'm going to bounce. Before I do that, I want to take one moment, as always, to thank our Patreon supporters because y'all help make all of this possible. And so Jamie Montgomery, Matthew Coleman, Jonathan Herman, Ron Petit, Tesh Norton, Scott Ward, Alicia Benson, or Alicia Glenn. Sorry, her name's not changed correctly on Patreon. Candace Davis, Jay Sheed, Jillian, Jason Crutchfield, Mike Perna, Todd Turner, John Jacobs, Zach Harris, Caleb Grimm, Jeanette Skaggs, Chris Poirier, who I'm about to go see. By the way, if you live between here and Columbus, Georgia, let me know. We'll give you a crisp high five and a sticker. Jason Bullock, Christina Ray, Sarah Lewis, Patrick Gale, Rebecca Godlove, and Adam Davis. Thank you all for being as cool as you are and for being just supportive and encouraging. And I appreciate y'all and I love you dearly for being you and for just just y'all. The fact that you're taking time to listen to this and that you are as cool to me as you are, it means the world. And I hope y'all have a fantastic morning. Uh, God bless you, and I will see you soon. And now I'm awkwardly going to sing or chat while I push these buttons to stop all this stuff. So here's me killing the live stream. Goodbye, Facebook. Boop. And here's me killing the rest of the recording. Goodbye, people listening or watching this on YouTube.